I tell you what, the fall is in the air, y'all. It's like 81 degrees, which is like middle of November weather for South Carolina. But here we are in the middle of August, and you know, I couldn't be happier because deer season here opens super early, and with it 81, that's perfect prime weather to go deer hunting, which is exactly what we're doing right now. But first, I gotta get a fresh cut because the fiance and everybody else is a little bit tired of the flow. So we're gonna do that, go put some deer corn out, and then we're getting into the woods. All right, so we got the corn put out. We put about 35 pounds out there. Now, I looked on the ground for deer signs. I had about 20 pounds put out for about 4 days, and most of it got eaten. Some of it was definitely squirrels and birds. The way that you can kind of tell that is if it looks all kind of cracked up on the ground, you're like, ah, that's a bird. But we went out there, we had some footprints, we definitely had some deer munching, which are great signs. 35 pounds of corn out, that should last us a couple of days, hopefully. Now let me show you the setup we got going, and also something that's gonna give you heebie-jeebies. So here's our deer blind. Looks pretty nice. We just sit right down in there. We got 3 holes cut. One's for the camera, 2 are for the guns. You know, I don't use more than 1 gun, quite obviously. We ain't a battleship flotilla. But what we do have is sometimes, you know, a deer will be over here, sometimes a deer will be over there, and it's easier if you got 2 holes to kind of work with it than just the one. That's what's going to give you the heebie-jeebies, though. That is a friggin' big spider, and I don't like spiders. So I'm going to find a very, very, very large and long stick to get rid of him, because I don't want him to come up said stick, and I honestly don't want to be within about, you know, closer than I am right now, about 3 feet. Whack him like a lightsaber. Now, buddy, I am sure that you are perfectly harmless, but the thing is, you ain't harmless to me, in my opinion. Woo-hoo. I think I killed him. I think he's dead. Listen, I am a staunch believer in God, and I know for a verifiable fact that spiders definitely do have a purpose in this world. But God, did they have to be so ugly. I mean, good Lord, I got chills up my spine. I'll take on a snake any day. I'll pet a snake, hold a snake, touch a snake. Anything you scared of, I guarantee you, I'll do something with. But a spider? No, 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 no. Carson, don't get near that. Alright, y'all, so we are locked and loaded, and that means that it is go time. You know, I'm just happy to be back in the woods. Now, I ain't gonna lie to you, I did forget my chair, so we got the good old-fashioned WWE steel chair out here. It's a little bit clicky and clanky, which I'm not a fan of, but as long as we stay quiet, I think it should be fine. Plus, the thing sat outside in the woods for like 3 years, I think, so it shouldn't have a smell other than woods, which the deer should like. I think that's the cologne they wear is woods. But we got about a 3-hour sit ahead of us, sundown about 8:15 in South Carolina. That means we can shoot till 9:15, but in reality, after about 9 o'clock, you can't see squat, and I'm not going to take a dangerous shot. Chances are that deer will be back, and I'm not risking it. But that's what we're looking at, right out in front of us. Taking a shot shouldn't be more than about 25 yards, 50 yards. It is really close. We are almost bow hunting. Y'all hear that? That's the sound of opportunity knocking. We got a cardinal out there feeding, which kind of explains why we saw all the cracked up little pieces of corn. It's him and all of his dove buddies and stuff flying around here. That's the reason that we saw all that. But we got about 2 more hours, and I've got confidence confidence in it to the max. I'm kind of providing a buffet for the mosquitoes right now, but I'll wait it out a little longer. Well, we got our first sign of mammalian life, so that's at least a positive. We got a squirrel out there. Now we just need a little bit of a bigger cousin, Mr. Deer. All right, so we've been out here for a little less than 2 hours. That means that we got 1 hour left. But that 1 hour left for every hunter is golden hour, y'all, and I am stoked. That last hour when the sun goes down, I'd argue that's when 90% of the deer killed in the evenings is during that hour. I got high hopes, that's all I can say. We got crows going crazy back there. I'd yell at them to keep it down, but I don't think that'd do any good. It's a really fat squirrel out there. Well, I got good news and bad news, y'all. The good news is we didn't hear any coyotes, which has been a real problem in this area. In fact, I might try and do something about that this winter, so stay tuned in that regard. But bad news is we didn't see any deer. But you know, anytime you're out there in the woods, it's time well spent, even though it feels like it's wasted sometimes. You know, you're never gonna kill a deer if you don't put time in the seat. And it's exactly what we're out here doing today, is putting time in the seat, hoping we saw something. We didn't. Hunting season usually gets better as that rut starts to come around in late October, early November for South Carolina. But we're back at the truck. We're gonna load up. We just pulled out, and we will most definitely be back. Stay tuned though, because the video ain't over just yet. Oh my goodness, we're going deer hunting. See, I told you we'd be back, but I just had to. Anytime you come to a pond, you just gotta put a line in the water. And that's exactly what we did. That's not a bad fish. I gotta get him up here. Oh my goodness, yes. Oh, you know, my job primarily is as a wildlife photographer, I guess you could say, in a roundabout kind of way. I film YouTube videos where I try and get y'all close to the wildlife, whether it be through hunting and fishing, and we just made it happen. Now let's go kill a deer. All right, guys, we're back in the deer stand, and I got good news and bad news. The good news is we just saw a deer, and we've been here for 30 seconds. The bad news is the reason we saw him is because we jumped him. This stand is really bad how you get into it. I really need to work on that, because you have to walk literally right out in the broad and they will see you easy, and that's exactly what happened. He was feeding right on the edge of the woods, and he saw me and jumped me. I think it might have been a buck, because he was by himself. I did not see any other deer, and we're getting to that time of year where bucks are kind of by themselves a lot. So, you know, the best thing we can do is get up in the stand, be quiet, and hope they come back. Just because you spook one doesn't mean that they're gone forever. You just usually got to wait them out a little more. Y'all, squirrels are legit the loudest creature I think I've ever heard in the woods. There was one in a tree right beside us, and I swear it sounded just like a deer about to like bull over everything, but no, it was just an itty bitty little baby squirrel with a nut. But we got 1 hour to go, well, hour and a half kinda. can see. You can't. Dark means we done. Let's recap in the car. Well, dang it, y'all. You know, we did see a deer, which thus far makes it our most productive sit of the year to an extent. The bad news is we only saw the butt of the deer. I really legitimately think that if we had been out there 30 minutes prior, there was a good chance that we would have been in the stand. 5 minutes later, deer shows up, buck down potentially, and I would have already at this hour been curled up in my bed with a clean deer. Because I mean, that was at 5:30 and it's 8:30 now. I could have easily had that thing in and out, especially with my lovely fiance slash camera woman here helping me out. But dang, y'all, you know, I hate it, but I had to stop for those Bojangles biscuits, and you know what? To an extent, I don't regret that decision either, because that was a good biscuit. But we ain't done. Also, dove season opens up, so as long as we don't get the, you know, September 2nd thunderstorm that they're calling for, we might have some jalapeno dove poppers in the oven, if you know what I mean. So if you like that sort of stuff, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. That's the life we kind of generally live, and I'm lucky enough to have a family that likes to live it too. But super fun, y'all. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned, because we are going to kill a deer this year. I don't doubt that. SC Traditions, signing out, y'all.